For the next 7 days, I will be eating nothing but food from the Dollar Tree. This will be including all of my breakfast, lunches, dinners, snacks, and desserts. It is all coming from the Dollar Tree. My goal is to do this also on an extreme grocery budget. So my plan is to eat for about $4 per day. This will come out to being a little over $1 per meal. My plan is also to make these meals as nutrient rich as possible and as delicious as possible. And to be quite honest with you guys, I am extremely nervous about this. I've never done a video like this to this extent on my channel in the past, but I'm bringing you guys along with me. Let's get to the Dollar Tree now. I haven't been hearing the best things about the Dollar Tree, so let's go see what we could find. I just pulled into the Dollar Tree, and the very first thing I'm noticing in the store are these scan for price things. It's no secret that the Dollar Tree upped their prices to $1.25, which is a 25% increase. That is huge. So I do feel like I need to ask a worker if anything's under $1.25. I do have a random question. Is everything $1.25, or is anything like less expensive?
No, everything's $1.25 except for you've got multi-price now. So you got $3, $4,
Yeah.
and $5 in the last one.
She basically told me everything is at least $1.25 and pricing goes up to $5. Very interesting. I'll just start my shopping now. So you can't go wrong with flour tortillas. That's what I always say. So I'll put these flour tortillas in my cart. I'm really impressed with the way they look. They look pretty appetizing. Also, it feels like they have an endless supply of mac and cheese, more types than I could imagine. So I felt like I should just grab a box. I ended up going with this deluxe box just because it looked the best to me. And hey, I like the color blue. Also, I am not grabbing this mayo, but I can't believe how white it is. I just feel like it looks like a paper. It's that white. Anyway, I'm picking up some salsa now for added flavor, and you can't go wrong with salsa for $1.25. I'll also pick up a couple cans of this pasta sauce. Now on the very bottom shelf, I found some black beans, so I'm throwing these black beans in my cart. Have no idea what I'm going to do with them yet. Also, I spotted some lentils. If you know me, I really like lentils, so I'll figure something out with these lentils. And then I did find the little small pasta section. I was impressed with it. They did have some gluten-free pasta, some like egg noodles, all different types of pasta. You know, typical grocery store pasta. You'll get a box and it has about 16 ounces of pasta in it. This box has 20 ounces of penne pasta in it, so pretty good value. I made it over to the canned bean area and I'm going to pick up this can of pinto beans. After I drop it on the floor, I'll just toss it into my cart. I'm also picking up this box of dehydrated hash browns. Again, no idea what I'm doing with it yet, but I'll find something. After going up and down the aisles quite a few times, looking over the items and checking out the store, I could thoroughly say they do a wonderful job at this location of keeping it clean, maintaining it, and stocking the shelves. So great job to them. I'm also picking up a box of cake mix, and my cute husband found this super dad mug. He is a super dad, so hey, it's fitting. Anyway, I'm also picking up a can of chicken, and I think my husband needs to be in more of my videos. He really is awesome, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, I'm also picking up a package of country gravy, and I'm going to head down to the frozen/fridge area, and I'm going to see what I could see in it. I found some ice cream, but I figured that wouldn't be in my extreme grocery budget for this week, so I looked further and I found this ham steak. This is a little bit more expensive, being $3, but I still grabbed it along with my bacon. This is 1 pound of bacon, so it's a huge amount of bacon for $3. I almost missed it, but a super kind worker in the store pointed out these clearance stickers to me. So I found these sausage, egg, and cheese biscuits. There's 2 in here on clearance. They were normally $4 down to $1.25, so that is a steal of a deal in my opinion. Great price, so do check out those clearance stickers. Anyway, I'm also picking up a couple bags of cheese and some smoked sausage. I'll also pick up Texas toast. This Texas toast looks wonderful. Hoping it's as good as it looks. I'm in the frozen veggie area now. I picked up some California blend veggies. They also have frozen broccoli, onion blend. They have quite a few frozen veggies, so very impressed with that. But I'm also going to grab some chocolate waffles just because you can't go wrong with chocolate waffles, and they were just calling my name. So Had to throw them in the cart. While in the frozen/fridge area, I did spot this Michelangelo chicken parmesan, regularly $4 down to $1.25. I did think that was a good price. Also, I'm impressed with the frozen fruit. I grabbed some frozen blueberries for $3, but they did have a good selection of frozen fruit, I thought. And then the last thing I'm grabbing is a Bosco stick. I'll find some use for this, I'm sure. Let's check out and let's figure this meal plan out for this week. Well, I have all my groceries and I'm getting started on breakfast for day one. I'm kind of going to be making like a breakfast casserole. So I'm going to be using my hash browns, also some of my bacon. This is 1 pound of bacon, so this is a lot of bacon for the price. It also looks like good quality bacon, so super excited about the bacon. And then also I'm using my packet of country gravy. I'm going to throw these things together and kind of see what I create. My goal is like a delicious breakfast casserole, and I'm hopefully gonna get a couple meals out of this bacon and this breakfast casserole. So let's get to it now. I grew up in New Mexico and we actually had like dry dehydrated hash browns like this all of the time. It wasn't this particular brand, but we used to have these often and I actually really like them. So you just pour some hot water in the spout, close it up for about 12 minutes, and then you are going to get like hydrated, delicious hash browns. So I'll let this sit and we're going to go get started on our bacon now. I was just reading my package of bacon and it says irregular slices. So I'm almost thinking it's like a discounted bacon just because they're not normal slices of bacon. I don't know. Not 100% sure, but I'm using a half a pound of this bacon. This bacon looks great. It does not just look fatty. I know some bacons, you know, that are like a little bit more affordable or just fatty. So this $3 package of a pound of bacon, I'm really impressed with so far. Here's where we are at with the bacon. As you see, it crisped up super nicely. I really like crispy bacon more than like chewy bacon. So it really cooked up nicely and it looks like high quality. So far super impressed with the bacon. I'm not going to let the bacon grease just waste in the pot. So to the bacon grease, I'm adding my country gravy and I'm going to kind of stir this country gravy around, you know, just whisk it in the grease until it gets incorporated well. This is going to give the casserole so much flavor. I do want to let you know everything that I'm using this week is coming from the dollar store. I am using a couple pantry staple ingredients, just like things like seasonings and oils, but besides that, everything else is coming from the dollar store. Now I'm going to whisk in about 1.5 cups of water. I'll whisk it in slowly, just so the flour doesn't become clumpy in the end. So you might notice my cookbook back there. If you didn't know, I have a cookbook and there it is. It has over 100 just like easy, realistic recipes. A lot of them are like on the more affordable side. I'm going to let this gravy kind of simmer for a couple of minutes. It really smells good at this point. Now that my gravy looks like this, I'm just going to remove it from the heat, and I'm also going to kind of cut my bacon up into smaller pieces right now as well. I have my 100% real potatoes right here. They are completely finished soaking, and as you see, they are like real hash browns now. No more dry potatoes, they're hash browns. I added them to a big bowl along with my delicious bacon. I just tried some of that bacon and it really tasted good. I'm also adding in my gravy. I know this might not look like the most gorgeous thing in the world, but hey, we're making do with what we got from the dollar store, and I really think this is going to turn out super good in the end. But just give this a good stir. I have a greased 8x8 baking dish, and if you hear a helicopter in the background, don't mind that. Oh man, there's like a helicopter circling where we live right now for some reason, so don't mind the helicopter in the background, but just add this to an 8x8 baking dish. And then, since I do have cheese, and if you know me or watched any of my videos, you probably know that I love cheese. So I'm going to sprinkle probably about 1/3 cup of cheese over the top. This will bake in a preheated oven to 350 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes. Here's what it looks like out of the oven. I do wish the cheese melted down a little bit better, but it smells so good. I'm about to eat this. It looks great too, in my opinion. It doesn't look too bad. I I would admit it doesn't look perfect, but you know, not too bad. Just finished up breakfast. If I'm rating this out of 10, I'd say this is a 6 out of 10. It was super flavorful. The bacon was delicious. That bacon is surprisingly super high quality for the price. The only thing I wish this had was maybe some eggs in it, mixed in with like the hash browns, just some eggs that like, you know, would bake in the oven. Of course, you'd have to bake this longer, but yeah. Only change I'd make is add eggs. There were no eggs at the Dollar Tree. Day one lunch, we are making ham lentil burritos. I'm going to get started with my ham. This is 8 ounces of ham. I'm going to dice it into smaller pieces right now. I say the smaller the pieces, the better. I have my lentils right here. I'm using about 1.5 cups of them for this recipe. I have a small amount left that I will save for a different recipe. Not sure what I'll use them for, but I'll use them for a different recipe. And I always recommend rinsing your lentils just with some cold water. The reason I do like to rinse them is because it removes debris, stones, dust, anything that could be present just due to the way that they are grown and packaged. So cleaning them is just, you know, it's not necessary, but I do like to do it. Also, it does help remove some of the starch, which causes excess foaming while cooking. And then there you go. Your lentils are ready to be cooked. You guys, I'm really excited about these lentil burritos. I've never made lentil burritos with ham before, but to this pan on the stove, I added some olive oil, about a tablespoon, I'd say. I have made like lentil potato burritos in the past, and those were super good. But like I said, I've never really made them with ham before. I love ham, and ham is like super affordable and delicious. I'm going to let this ham sear on my pan for about 3 minutes on each side. Now that the ham is like a beautiful golden color like this, I'm going to add in a dash of salt and pepper. I'm also adding in a little bit of crushed red pepper flakes, and then oregano and some onion powder. This is going to give it a lot of extra added flavor just because the lentils tend to be not super flavorful. I mean, they're good, but you know, they need a little bit of flavor. Now I'm adding in my uncooked lentils. If you've never tried lentils before, you absolutely need to. They're kind of like a powerhouse. That's at least what I like to call them, just because they're like super high in protein. They're super high in different like vitamins. They're just super good for you. They're like the best, least expensive meat substitute. So they're awesome, but I just added in my lentils along with about 5 cups of water. I'm going to let this simmer for about 20 minutes covered on my stove. I want to update you on these Dollar Tree lentils. So normally I buy like the Walmart Great Value lentils, and they cook up in about 20 minutes. They simmer up nicely. They get super tender and nice like at that 20-minute mark. But these have been simmering for about 25 minutes. They're still not to the tenderness that I like them to be. I'll let them simmer for about like 10 more minutes, but I'm thinking these Dollar Tree lentils maybe are, you know, slightly different than the Walmart lentils as far as like simmering. So I'll let these simmer for a little bit longer. My lentils are just about through simmering. I'll take some over and kind of show you. As you see, I kind of like them to be easy to mush like that. That might sound odd, but that makes for like the best texture of lentils in my opinion. I don't like them when they have like a little bit of crunch, but I'm just going to serve this inside of some tortillas right now, and I have plenty left over for other recipes this week, you know, other lunches, perhaps some dinners as well. Here's what lunch is looking like. I'm not super hungry just because breakfast was so filling, so I'm only doing one lentil and ham burrito, but if I'm feeling hungry later, I could have another one for like a snack or something. I have plenty left. I also have a bunch of tortillas left, but I'm just going to eat this now. It smells delicious. Just finished lunch for today. It was really good. I did notice the tortillas were maybe like not as good quality as normal tortillas, but they were super flavorful. Just a little bit, you know, like crumbly. I do suppose if I heat them up in a little bit of oil, I'll try that next time. They might be like a little bit less crumbly. Hello there, it is dinner time, and for dinner tonight I'm making minestrone soup. So I'm going to be using some of like one of my cans of pasta sauce along with a can of pinto beans, mixed vegetables, and some pasta. I might throw some more ingredients in. We'll have to see, but let's get to my stove and let's get started. Also, I'm feeling really good at this point. I know it's just day one dinner, but so far these meals have been really surprisingly delicious. The ingredients I found have been really pretty high quality, especially that bacon, but we'll have to see how the rest of the week goes. For my minestrone soup, I just added in my whole bag of my California blend veggies. It's 12 ounces. That was kind of like the best blend of veggies I saw at the store for like a minestrone, but now I'm adding in about 90% of my sauce. This is like 24 ounces, so I probably added in like 18 ounces, and then I'm adding in my pinto beans. You could of course use like kidney beans, really any beans will work. I'm also adding in about 4 cups of water, and then I'm adding in my penne pasta. This is like 20 ounces of pasta. It's so much pasta. I'm only going to add in about like 5 ounces of pasta. I didn't even add in like half of the box. I'm also super happy because this pasta is small. I was hoping that it would be smaller just because it works better for like soups. I'll give this a stir, and I'm going to let it simmer on my stove for about 10 to 15 minutes, or until that pasta is tender and those veggies are tender as well. For the rest of the pasta sauce, if you're wondering what I'm doing with it, I'm just saving it in a glass container. I'm thinking I might use it for my pizzas. I'll see what I do with it, but I'll just stick it in my fridge just like this. I brought this up to a simmer. Now I'm going to season it because nobody likes bland soup. I added in lots of salt, and then I'm also adding in a couple teaspoons of Italian seasoning. Then I'm adding in a dash of pepper along with about a teaspoon of onion powder. Italian seasoning, onion powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper. Those are really good seasonings if you're on a budget and looking just for some great flavor in your food, you know, just on a tighter budget. Then I'm adding in about a teaspoon of oregano, and then I'll let this simmer on my stove for about 10 to 15 minutes, or until those penne pasta noodles are to the tenderness that I like them to be. My minestrone is simmering, and I did notice one thing that I want to tell you. The next time I make this soup, I'll slightly thaw out the vegetables and then chop them into smaller pieces. The vegetables are kind of large, which I don't mind, and I'm just making this for myself, but if I were to be making it for my whole family, chopping up the vegetables would be super helpful, just, you know, so they're easier to eat. I do want to let you know my husband and my little ones are just eating normally, you know, what they would normally eat throughout the week. It is about 5:30 right now, and I am hungry for dinner. Dinner is complete. Here's what minestrone soup looks like. Those noodles cooked up really nicely. It smells fantastic, so I'm going to serve this up and eat it right now. Hello, there is breakfast day 2, and I am having one of these biscuit, sausage, and cheese, like Jimmy Dean things. Look at how cool it opens. I think that is like pretty fancy. Here's what it looks like. I am having one of these for breakfast today. And yes, I'm sitting on my countertop just because I found that this is the best lighting right now, and I don't normally do this style of filming, so bear with me. Anyway, having one of these for breakfast this morning. I do want to go over yesterday with you. I do wish I had a little bit more like fresh produce yesterday, or, you know, things like that, like fresh spinach would have been nice, or anything of that nature. But Dollar Tree does not have any fresh produce, at least at my Dollar Tree. So working with what we had, I think it went really well. Feeling pretty good right now. It's a hot day outside, so I'm going to eat my breakfast, and then I'm gonna go on a scooter ride with my little ones. Honestly, you guys, this biscuit smells so good. This smells delicious. Also, you can't go wrong. 12 grams of serving, or 12 grams of protein per serving. That's a lot of protein to start your day, but okay, you guys, I don't have anything bad to say about this breakfast. It was probably an 8 out of 10. That biscuit was like flaky and good. I should probably change my camera view 1 second. Okay, that biscuit was like flaky. The sausage was like a tad bit mapley. Delicious breakfast on a budget. So Dollar Tree gets 8 out of 10 for that one. That was good. It's about 12:30 right now, and it is lunchtime, so I'm getting started on my lunch. For lunch today, I'm thinking I'm doing like Texas toast garlic like bread pizzas. So I have my garlic bread. I haven't opened this yet. I have my cheese. I have used my cheese. One second, let me get the door. I used my cheese yesterday, and then my pizza sauce. Also, if you're wondering who was at the door, that was my parents. Somebody ordered a signed cookbook, so they were bringing the signed cookbook to the post office for me to deliver to them. It's somebody in California. Somebody's at my door. Oh my gosh, everybody's at my door today. Anyway, somebody from California, and she's a nurse and a wonderful mom. So happy birthday to you. I just signed your cookbook. I have my Texas toast right here. It comes with 6 slices of Texas toast. I'm thinking I'm only using 2 for lunch today just because they're pretty thick, but it smells so like garlicky and herby. I'm really impressed with this garlic Texas toast so far. Now, since it's already seasoned and buttered, I don't need to season it at all. I guess you can if you want to, but it already really smells herby and delicious. I'm just sprinkling a little bit of my sauce over the top. I'll save this sauce. Since I didn't use all of it, I'll just put it back in my fridge, but I'm going to sprinkle some cheese over the top. As you saw yesterday with the egg casserole, it didn't melt super well going into the oven, so I'm hoping it melts better for this. I'm baking it on 400 degrees. I'll probably do it for 10 minutes, but I'll check it at the halfway mark. Here's what they look like out of the oven. The cheese gets like 1 point for melting down. 1 out of 10, did not melt down very good, but the Texas toast smells good and it crisped up really nicely. The flavor of the cheese gets like 4 out of 10 points, but it really did not melt down great at all. But this Texas toast, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Look at how like good it looks in the back. It's really delicious. It's like herby. The garlic flavor tastes like fresh, so definitely recommend this Texas toast. It's about 6:30, so it is dinner time, and for dinner tonight I am making a chicken taco mac. This jar of salsa, I just tried opening it and it was nearly impossible to open, at least for me, but let's get this started. I'm bringing this water up to a boil and I'm adding in my box of macaroni and cheese. I'm adding the pasta just right into my pot, and I'm going to let it cook according to the package instructions. I am curious to see how this macaroni cooks up, if it's going to kind of like fall apart or turn out really nicely. I just strained my pasta. As you see, there is like a long pasta noodle right here. So I wonder if this pasta is made at the same facility as like this pasta facility. Anyway, now I'm adding in the cheese packet that the pasta came with, the macaroni. I smelled it and the cheese packet smells really good. I'm also adding in 1/4 cup of our salsa. It's just going to add kind of some delicious flavor. The last thing I'm adding in is my can of chicken. This is the white chicken meat from the dollar store, Dollar Tree, you know. I just drained that chicken and I added it in. I'm going to give this a stir. Let all the ingredients combine together, and I'm going to let it cook on my stove for about 5 minutes. You could always add in more salsa, you could add less salsa. Really make this your own so easily. But here is what my dinner is looking like for tonight. As you see, I have a bunch left. I did add in a little bit more salsa just at the end there because I thought it needed just a little bit more. I did also notice the salsa is made with organic tomatoes, so I thought that was pretty impressive. So I read the ingredients in the salsa and I noticed the ingredients were pretty good too. Such an affordable salsa. There's quite a bit of salsa in there, and I did try a bit and it's delicious. I'm halfway done with my dinner tonight, and I do kind of want to give you a little rundown of what it's like. So I was skeptical about this dinner at first. I've made taco macs like this in the past, but I've never made anything quite like this, but it is delicious. I probably give it an 8 out of 10. It really is that good. The chicken doesn't taste like canned chicken. The chicken is really good chicken. And then the mac and cheese, it tastes delicious. It's really good mac and cheese. And then the salsa adds such great flavor to it. So it doesn't add like spicy flavor, of course. It just adds a kick of flavor, just what this dish needs. Absolutely delicious. I think this is my favorite thing I've had so far. I think might have some delicious meals in the future, but definitely one of my favorites I've had so far. Recommend this, and I will probably be making it for dinner for my family here in the near future, just because truly that good. Breakfast day 3. I'm having more of the hash brown bacon casserole. I went to the gym this morning and I was actually craving this. It sounded super good, so I'm having just about this much more. I still have some more for other days, but I'll just heat this up in my microwave and I'll have breakfast for day 3. It is lunchtime for day 3, and I'm thinking I'm going to have a lentil ham burrito. So I have my tortillas here, and then I have my lentils in here. Let me show you. One moment. They're just right here. My plan with the tortilla today is to heat it up with a little bit of oil on the stove and I'm hoping the tortilla doesn't get crumbly that way and, you know, like fall apart and break. So I'm going to heat it up in a little bit of oil and see how that works. I just have the lentil ham mixture in my microwave, but this is through heating up. I'm going to remove it from the heat now. It really looks good. This might be the best way to make your Dollar Tree tortillas. I heated my ham and lentil mixture up in the microwave for about 2 minutes, just added it onto my tortilla. Now I'm adding on a little bit of our salsa. I have some salsa left, so I thought might as well just give this burrito a little bit more flavor and put some salsa on top. The tortilla, I'm noticing it crisped up, but not to the point where it's like falling apart. As you see, it kind of has like that perfect crispness about it. I'll let you know how this one is. Okay, I'm almost completely finished with my lentil ham burrito. The salsa on the top adds a great kick. That adds great flavor. The tortilla did still fall apart, so I ended up using a fork and knife to eat it. The tortilla was so much more flavorful, giving it that crispiness, adding some oil to the pan on the stove. So I do see these Dollar Tree tortillas, I give them an 8 out of 10. I do think they're pretty good, especially crisping them up on the stove. I do wish the tortilla didn't fall apart so easily, but overall, really impressed with the tortilla. This dish is delicious. It does not taste like extreme budget friendly at all. Super good. I'm kind of at that awkward time between lunch and dinner. It is 3 o'clock right now, and I don't feel like I could eat a full meal, and I'm not feeling like eating nothing. So I have my Bosco stick. I have been craving this all week. I have been thinking about this Bosco stick seriously for the last few days, every day, but I'm going to be eating it now for my snack. You could either microwave it for about a minute or put it in your oven. It says for best results. Thaw it and stick it in your oven on 350 for about 20 minutes. So that is what I'm doing. If you've never had a Bosco stick before, or like nothing like a Bosco stick. I grew up in Albuquerque. I went to Albuquerque public schools, and we used to have something like Bosco sticks. I don't know if it was the exact like brand of Bosco sticks, but we used to have these on occasion, and in our school cafeteria they were like bread with cheese in the middle. So I'm thinking this might be extremely similar. I'm excited. I used to love these at school growing up, but I'll stick this in the oven now. It is here. The Bosco stick is out of the oven. Let's see the cheese pull. Oh, that is what I remember from like elementary school. It smells really good too. It's super hot. It's really good. I will see you at dinner time tonight. Also, if you're doing a Bosco stick, I recommend putting it in the oven. I'm a little worried it would have come out soggy in the microwave. It is dinner time, and for dinner tonight, I am having some of my minestrone soup. I am going to go heat this up in my microwave right now. Just got it out of the microwave. It is pretty hot, but as you see, the pasta kind of absorbed most of the liquid, so it no longer looks like a minestrone soup. It looks more like a pasta dish, but it smells great. It looks great. It has a lot of protein from those pinto beans in it. I love how it has the veggies in it, and I'm kind of craving veggies right now, so I'm excited to eat this dinner right now. Hello there. For day 4's breakfast, we are going with Eggo waffles. I'm actually really excited about this. These are the chocolatey chip waffles. I don't normally buy these. They smell like cake. They seriously smell so sweet. Don't know how much sugar's in them, but let's go throw them in the toaster. I'm about halfway through with my chocolate chip waffles, and let me tell you, I used to always go for chocolate chip waffles when I was a little one, or like chocolate chip pancakes. They were like my favorite, anything with chocolate chips. These are so good. They probably have quite a bit of sugar in them and not a lot of protein. I'm thinking this won't be as filling as like the breakfast casserole or the breakfast sandwich, you know, but it's delicious, and everybody deserves a chocolate chip waffle every once in a while. I actually just finished up my breakfast, my waffles, but I know these beans have to cook for a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and prep them right now. You could always prep your beans like the night before and let them soak overnight. I just simply forgot to do that last night, and it's totally fine. The reason why people do like to let your beans like just soak in water overnight is just because it helps reduce like any gas that might be caused from the beans, and it does help the beans cook a lot quicker. But I'm just giving my black beans a little rinse right now. I'm going to kind of look through them. You do want to rinse them just because it does clean them and remove any debris that might be on the beans. I just added my beans into this pot on the stove. I normally buy my beans from Walmart. I often buy like pinto beans. Sometimes I do black beans. I did notice with the Dollar Tree's beans, a lot of them are broken. There's not many like whole ones. With the ones that I do buy at like Walmart or Kroger, they tend to be a little bit less broken, I found, but we'll see how these cook up. I just added them to the pot on my stove. Now I'm adding in my water. You want to add in about 7 cups of water total. For my seasonings, I'm adding in a dash of salt and pepper. I'm also adding in onion powder and garlic powder with some oregano and Italian seasoning. Beans tend to be a little bit bland, so it's always good to just season them up slightly. I'll give this a stir, and I'm going to let it simmer on my stove for about 4 hours. And then I'll see where my beans are at that point. Already, this pot is looking dark, so the coloring on the black beans the coloring's kind of coming off, and as you see, they're kind of falling apart. So I'm hoping the beans don't completely, you know, like turn to mush and fall apart in the end. It's fine if they do. Of course, they're still edible, but we'll see the quality of these beans. My black beans have been simmering for about 2.5 hours, I'd say. They are pretty tender. I just checked them. So I am going to strain some of this water out, and then I am going to add in about 1/2 cup of salsa. I'm also going to mash up the black beans because I kind of want these like refried bean burritos, and I'll mash them just with my potato masher. I was skeptical about the quality of these black beans at first, but they actually did cook really nicely. I do say about 8 out of 10 for like cooking and quality. I do think the ones at Walmart and Kroger are slightly better quality, but these are pretty good. I have my tortilla. I just crisped up slightly on the stove just to give that tortilla added flavor. And now I'm also adding some salsa on top. I am going to try to make this work in this foil because I am going somewhere with my little ones. I have swim lessons to go to with them, so I am going to eat this in my car. My little ones have already eaten lunch, but I'm going to eat this in the car on the way to swim lessons, but it looks super good. It smells delicious as well. Dinner for day 4 tonight. I am deciding that I'm going to have my leftover Tex-Mex mac and cheese, like skillet dinner. I don't even know what you want to call it, but this has been one of my favorite dinners yet. There's quite a bit left over, and I'm thinking I'm going to eat all of it tonight just because I am on the hungrier side. And I do think after I reheat it in the microwave, I will add some more salsa to the top just because the salsa is so good. But I'm excited about this one. This one's been one of my favorite dishes so far. Update on the mac and cheese. I ate most of it. It was super good. I do think it was best the first day when I made it originally, just because, I don't know, I've always thought this. When macaroni and cheese is reheated, it's like, has a different taste. I don't know, might just be me, but I ate most of it, and then the salsa is just so good. So glad I got the salsa with it. Breakfast day 5, I am having my second biscuit. This is just my like sausage cheese biscuit. So I'm going to put this in the microwave and have it for breakfast this morning. It is about 12:30 right now, so it is lunchtime. I have plenty of my black bean refried beans left. In this container, I just saved it in my fridge. So I'm going to add some to this bowl, and for lunch today, I am going to have another kind of like black bean, refried bean burrito. So I'm going to heat this up in my microwave for a little bit, probably about like 2 minutes just to heat those beans up. I did crisp up my tortilla, and I just crisped it up like on the flames on my stove, and I'd say it turned out really good. It smells delicious so far. I am going to heat these beans up, and then I'm going to add them to my burrito. I'll probably top my burrito with some more salsa because I have just been loving this salsa recently. I just finished up my lunch. I love having beans for lunch. These black beans were super flavorful. Having them in this like burrito made them extra flavorful with that salsa on top. These black beans are super high in protein, different antioxidants. They're super high in different vitamins, minerals, so they're really good for you. Also, having beans for lunch or dinner, you know, for your meals, it's great because you're not going to be feeling hungry in between meals. It is dinner time for day 5, and I have something kind of cool up my sleeve. So I still have my bacon. This is my other half of the bacon that I used earlier this week. I have a little bit of lentils left, and then I have a bunch of pasta and some pasta sauce. So I'm thinking like a bacon lentil pasta. I'm excited about this. Let's get to it. To this pot of almost boiling water on my stove, I'm adding in the rest of my penne pasta. I probably have about 15 ounces left, but I'm just going to cook it according to the package instructions. While I have my pasta cooking away, I am going to get started on my bacon. So to this pan on the stove, I'm just adding the rest of my bacon, and I'm going to cook it up until it is to the crispiness that I like it to be. Now that my bacon's cooked through, I'm just removing it to a plate, and I'm going to set this plate to the side. Also, the pasta just cooked through, so I just strained it off to the side, but this bacon smells so good right now. It really smells like a good quality bacon. But to the same pan that the bacon was cooked in, I did leave about a tablespoon of the bacon grease in my pan, and I'm just going to stir around my lentils. I did measure out my lentils, and I did measure out about a half a cup of lentils that I do have left. So I just rinsed my lentils, you know, to clean them. And then I'm going to add in my pasta sauce along with 1 cup of water, and I'm going to let this simmer on my stove for about 25 minutes or until those lentils are tender. The simmering time's about up for my lentils, so now I'm just adding in my cooked pasta. And then I'm going to give this a stir. You want the pasta to get coated in the sauce. Okay, I'm also adding in my bacon. I almost forgot about my bacon. So I just added the bacon in, give it a little stir, and then you could serve this up. Here's what my dinner looks like. I'll admit, this looks super good. It smells great too, and I feel like you could feed 4 more adults with this amount of food. There is so much left. And I have never done bacon and lentils together before. I was a little skeptical about how this might taste, but it is so good. The lentils and the bacon really complement each other so well. The bacon kind of gives the lentils a lot of great flavor. The lentils are super high in protein. This is just like a delicious, delicious dinner. I am so impressed with this right now. I can't even tell that I am eating like from the Dollar Tree. It really tastes like you could get this like at a fancy grocery store. Totally random, and this hardly ever happens, but we are having family over for dessert tonight. And since I am eating from the dollar store all week, I thought, well, I should just make my dessert tonight. So I'm going to be trying to do like a blueberry crumble cake. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm going to be using my boxed cake mix, my bag of blueberries, and then I just melted 1 cup of butter. I'm going to mix the butter and the cake mix together first, and then I'm going to mix in the blueberries. I'll bake this in a preheated oven to like 350 degrees. I'm thinking for about 25 to 30 minutes. I'll check it at that point to see if it's done. I'm excited about this dessert, and I'm hoping that everybody enjoys it tonight. Here's how our dessert is looking at the 30-minute mark. I think it needs about 10 more minutes. So I'll stick it in the oven for about 10 more minutes, so 40 minutes total, but it smells scrumdiddlyumptious right now. It smells so good. I just pulled this out of the oven, and it smells so scrumptious. I'm going to serve myself just a little one right now. We have people coming over later, so I want to save enough. I just asked my husband, actually, I was like, is it rude if I sample some before our family gets here? And he said, no, of course you have to try it to make sure it's good. But I'm excited. I'm about to try this.
It's so good.
You want to try some? What is it? Is it good? That is so good. 10, what do you rate it out of 10? 0 is bad and 10 is the best.
10.
10? I'm now on breakfast for day 6, and today I am having more of my breakfast casserole. I'm thinking I'll have enough of this breakfast casserole just for 1 more day, so tomorrow's breakfast too, I suppose. Unless I come up with something else for tomorrow's breakfast, I will probably have this, but I'm gonna go microwave this, and I am going to eat it outside with my little ones. My little ones are currently eating their breakfast outside. For lunch today, I am having my Michelangelo's chicken parmesan. I was just reading the back of it, and it says you could bake it for 30 to 35 minutes. I'm wanting lunch within like 10 minutes today, so I'm going to microwave it for about 8 minutes. That's what it says on the back. There's a lot of chicken parmesan in this. This says it's 10 ounces. It's pretty heavy, and the chicken looks good on the top. I was just looking at it. It looks good. There's cheese sprinkles on the top, so I'll go microwave this now. Here's how Michelangelo is looking right now. I will open it up carefully. Michelangelo is very hot right now, and Michelangelo also says it tastes homemade, so we will see about that. I will admit it actually does look really good. It smells really good too, so Michelangelo, you are thoroughly impressing me right now. I wanted to show you what the chicken looks like inside, and the chicken looks really good. For like a really cheap frozen meal, this looks delicious. I'm just about through eating my lunch today, and this totally reminds me, in elementary school we used to have like a pasta day, and with the pasta day the pasta sauce used to taste like this. This totally reminds me of the pasta sauce, but I would rate this probably a 7 or 8 out of 10. The pasta was cooked super well. The chicken tastes so good. And I just thought this was a really good microwave meal. I would definitely be buying this again. Don't mind the birds chirping outside in the background. They are kind of loud, but for dinner tonight, I'm having a little bit more of my bacon lentil pasta, and then this is how much I have left in this bowl. So I have a ton left. This made so much food. I was not expecting how much food some of these meals would actually make, but I just heated this up in my microwave, and I'm gonna go have it for dinner. Smells delicious, and I was not hungry in between lunch and dinner, so I did not have any snacks. I was curious to see how much that Michelangelo chicken parmesan would be, but yeah, I'm excited about this one. This is kind of a different pasta than lunch, so I'm gonna go eat it. We are on our last day, so for breakfast today, I am having the rest of my hash brown and bacon casserole. I'll just heat it up in my microwave, and then for lunch, since I do have to edit this video and get it up for you guys to watch it, I'm just going to share what I'm having for lunch. So for lunch, I'm having another like Texas toast pizza. I'll probably have 2 of these. I have my Texas toast, a little bit more like pizza or pasta sauce, and then some cheese. I haven't even opened this bag of cheese, so plenty of cheese left. I will not be using this whole bag for my lunch today. Also, I didn't open my hot smoked sausage, and I probably won't use it today, so I didn't need to buy this at the store. It would have saved me a little bit of money, but I'll freeze it and I'll use it for a future recipe. And then I want to let you know, I have so much food left. This amount of black beans will probably feed like 2 or 3 more burritos. So much food left, holy moly. And then I have so much of my minestrone soup left. I'll probably have this for dinner tonight. Also, my lentil pasta. I'll either have the minestrone or this for dinner tonight, but probably this will feed about 3 to 4 people, as well as my ham and lentil stew burrito mixture. And then I have a little bit more salsa and my tortillas. I did not need to buy the amount of food that I did buy at the Dollar Tree. I thought I was going to be hungry throughout the week. I was not hungry. I had plenty of food. I could have easily heated up any of these if I wanted a snack throughout the week. I calculated all of this out, and it came to being a little over $4 a day, so about $1.50 per meal, so per breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I'd say that was really great, especially because grocery prices are so high nowadays. I'm happy that I was able to make meals that had protein, veggies, and that tasted delicious. Of course, maybe I wish the quality of some of the ingredients were a tad bit better, like the cheese, but overall, for the price we paid, it's not easy to eat a meal for $1.50 these days with these grocery prices. So I'm really happy with what we did this week. So thanks for doing it with me. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure you let me know down below, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. Bye for now.